Every morning, I study the ticker tape with absolute focus. Not because I'm hunting for the next explosive move, but because I'm conditioning my mind for battle. The market has no concern for your hopes, your responsibilities, or your dreams of financial freedom. It is a ruthless arena where the prepared consume the unprepared, where discipline overwhelms impulse, and where your greatest enemy is neither the bear nor the bull, but the voice inside your own head that deceives you. I learned this truth the hardest way possible, more times than I care to count. Each lesson stripped me of everything I had, yet through those painful losses, I uncovered something far more valuable. Trading success has nothing to do with discovering the perfect setup or chasing the hottest stock. It begins with the conversation you have with yourself when you wake up, before the opening bell, before the noise, before emotion takes control, before I even glance at the market. I stand face to face with my reflection and speak truth to myself, not hollow affirmations, designed to sound motivational, but raw, cutting truths, the kind that slice through greed and fear. I remind myself that I am here to follow the market, not to predict it. Most traders begin their day already convinced they know what should happen. They cling to yesterday's analysis, commit emotionally to positions, and convince themselves they've uncovered a hidden pattern. That isn't trading. That's gambling disguised as intelligence. The market owes nothing to you. It doesn't care about your indicators, your research, or your intuition. It simply exists. Your responsibility is to observe it clearly without ego distorting your vision. I tell myself that my capital is my ammunition, and without it, I cannot fight. Every dollar in my account is a soldier. No general would send his entire army charging blindly into a battle against an enemy he barely understands. Yet traders do exactly that every day. They see something that looks promising and go all in, risking everything on one idea, one moment. I've gone broke 3 times in my life. 3 times I built wealth, and 3 times I lost it all. Every single collapse came from forgetting one fundamental truth: preservation always company. Mise before profit. You cannot make money if you have no money left. My primary duty is not to make money. It is to avoid losing money foolishly. I remind myself that I will wait for my pitch. In baseball, a batter can let pitches pass until the right one arrives. The market offers the same privilege, yet traders behave as if inactivity is punishment. They see movement and feel compelled to act. I see others profiting and panic about missing out. But the market is endless. Opportunities never stop coming. The trades that truly build wealth are rare. They appear only when conditions align, when trends are unmistakable, when probability leans so heavily in your favor that inaction becomes the mistake. Until then, my job is to wait, to observe, to remain liquid and alert. Each morning I remind myself that the trend is my only ally. Not hope, not pride, not revenge. The trend. When I read the tape, I'm not trying to outsmart it or forecast the future. I'm listening to what it's saying right now. Is money flowing in or out? Are buyers confident or hesitant? Is price forming higher highs and higher lows or drifting aimlessly? The market communicates clearly to those who listen without bias. Most traders don't listen. They argue. The market says down, and they say it shouldn't be, so they buy. The market says up, and they say it's too high, so they sell short. This is ego fighting reality, and reality always wins. I commit myself to humility. I will not impose my will on the market. I will align myself with its will once it becomes clear. I trade patterns, not companies. The MOM. NT, you fall in love with a stock. You stop being a trader and become a short-term investor, a dangerous hybrid. I don't care if a company has revolutionary technology or flawless leadership. I care only about whether the stock is behaving correctly. Is it strong when the market is weak? Is it holding gains while others collapse? Is it leading or lagging? The story may be seductive, but price reveal truth about where serious money is moving. Institutions and professionals always know more than you do. Rather than trying to outthink them, I follow their footprints. Accumulation, markup, distribution. These cycles repeat endlessly because human nature never changes. I also remind myself that my emotions are not my compass. Fear and greed are destructive forces. Fear pushes you out of winning. NG trades too early. Greed convinces you to hold losers too long or add recklessly when a move is nearly exhausted. Both emotions disguise themselves as logic. Fear says be safe when you should let profits run. Greed says add more when you should protect gains. The moments when I feel most confident are the moments I slow down the most and ask whether I'm following my rules or my feelings. The rule. As were created by a calmer, wiser version of myself. My emotional self, under pressure, is the least qualified decision maker. I will honor my stops without exception. This is the rule traders break most because it requires admitting error. But being wrong is part of trading. Even the best traders lose frequently. What separates them is not accuracy, but discipline. I know exactly where I'm wrong. Before entering any trade, when price reaches that point, I exit immediately. No hesitation, no hope. The market can remain irrational longer than I can remain solvent. Every morning I repeat these principles until they sink deep beneath conscious thought. This is my mental pre-flight checklist. When chaos erupts and emotions flare, I don't rely on thinking, I rely on conditioning. If you train DI, discipline and patience, they emerge under pressure. If you train fantasy and impulse, those emerge instead. The shift from losing trader to profitable trader isn't about better indicators. It's about becoming a different person. Someone who is emotionally neutral toward wins and losses. Someone who judges success by process, not daily profit. Because consistent execution produces consistent results. Professionals differ from amateurs in one critical way: comfort with uncertainty. Amateurs need certainty. Professionals understand probabilities. Amateurs crave action. Professionals understand that cash is often the best position. Amateurs trade for emotion. Professionals trade for results. What you tell yourself in the quiet moments before the market opens determines everything. Trading is about the market. It is about you. The market merely reflects your internal state in dollars and cents. Any lack of discipline in life will surface in your trading. Any dishonesty with yourself will be punished without mercy. This is why trading is the most expensive form of self-education. The market will teach you everything you've avoided learning, and it will collect tuition in losses until why? Udo. The third time I lost everything, I woke up feeling invincible. Winning streaks had inflated my ego. I skipped my routine. I ignored my rules. Within a week, I was wiped out, not because the market changed, but because I did. That pain taught me the power of consistency. Since then, I have never skipped a morning. Discipline is not something you possess. It is something you practice daily. The moment you believe you no longer need fundamentals is the moment your decline begins. Each morning, I also commit to never revenge trade. Losses hurt the ego, and the instinct to get even is powerful. But revenge trading destroys years of progress in hours. Losses are a cost of business. My ego will never be allowed to risk my capital. I will scale in, never all in. I test positions and add only. When the market confirms me, I miss extremes, but I survive mistakes, and survival is everything. I am not competing with anyone else. Comparison is poison. The only opponent is yesterday's version of myself. Progress comes from discipline, not envy. These morning truths are not magic. They don't guarantee winning trades. But they build the mindset required to survive, and survival is the foundation of everything in this business. What they do is far more valuable than direction alone. They prepare your mind for the psychological warfare that trading truly is. They bring you back to principles you already understand, but tend to forget when pressure rises and emotions take over. They place you in a mental state where decisions are deliberate rather than reactive, calculated rather than emotional. Over time, they don't just change how you trade. They change who you are at your core. You become someone who follows rules, even when it's uncomfortable. Someone who stays calm while others panic. Someone who can recognize opportunity where others see only disorder. Let me be completely clear about something. This morning, practice will not make trading easy. Nothing will ever make trading easy. The market's function is simple and brutal. It transfers money from the many to the few, and it does this exceptionally well. What this practice does is give you a fighting chance. It places you among the small minority of traders who approach this profession with the seriousness it demands. Most people treat trading like a pastime. like a game they can casually play alongside a full-time job, or F, family responsibilities. Those people provide liquidity. They fund the accounts of professionals. They are necessary to the system, but you do not want to be one of them. Every morning I make another commitment to myself. I commit to continuous learning. The moment you believe you understand everything about the market is the moment you sign your own destruction. Markets evolve. Technology advance. New participants arrive with different objectives and time horizons. Regulations shift. Economic environments change. What worked last year may fail this year. What works this morning may stop working by the afternoon. I read relentlessly, not just about trading, but about psychology, history, and human behavior. I study my trades in detail, journaling not only what I did, but why I did it and how I felt while doing it. I examine my winners to understand what I executed correctly, and I dissect my losses to identify where my thinking or execution failed. This commitment to improvement is not optional. It is the price of entry for anyone serious about this craft. I also remind myself never to confuse a bull market with brilliance. This is one of the most humbling truths, especially during periods of easy money. When everything is rising and nearly every trade works, it's tempting to believe you've mastered the game. It becomes easy to increase size, loosen discipline, and take unnecessary risks. But a rising tide lifts all boats. You haven't necessarily become more skilled. You've simply been operating in favorable conditions. I've seen countless traders build fortunes in bull markets only to lose everything when conditions changed. They mistook luck and environment for ability. When the environment shifted, their true level of skill was exposed. Every morning I remind myself to remain humble, to recognize that much of my success comes from aligning with forces I do not control, and to prepare for the day those forces inevitably change. The greatest edge I have over the average trader is not experience, though that helps. It's not capital, though that provides resilience. It's my willingness to do nothing when there is nothing to do. Most traders are addicted to action. They feel they must be in a position to justify their identity as a trader. Sitting in cash feels like wasted time or missed opportunity. Yet the best trades I've ever made were preceded by long stretches of waiting, observing, and refusing to participate in unclear, choppy markets. When price action is erratic, when trends are absent, when volatility is random, the correct decision is to do nothing. Preserve your capital, preserve your mental energy, wait for clarity. The market will signal when it's time to act. Until then, cash is not inactivity. It is the highest return position available. Here is something I remind myself of constantly about losses. Losses are information. Taking a loss is not failure, it's feedback. It reveals where the market does not want to go. It exposes weaknesses in analysis, timing, position sizing, or risk management. A properly controlled loss is one of the most valuable learning tools available. The traders who never lose are the traders who never participate. Everyone who is truly in the arena loses regularly. The difference is that professionals lose small and win big, while amateurs do the opposite. They allow small losses to grow through hope and denial, and they cut winners short due to fear and impatience. I tell myself every morning that my ego is not my ally. The ego wants to be right. It wants recognition, validation, superiority. The market is indifferent to all of that. The only thing that matters is whether money is being made or lost. The ego keeps traders trapped in losing positions to avoid admitting mistakes. It urges them to add to losses to prove a point. It encourages them to celebrate wins publicly and hide failures privately. I've learned to recognize that voice and deliberately act against it. This is not natural. It requires constant effort, which is why it is embedded in my daily routine. So build your own morning practice. Stand before yourself honestly and speak these truths until they become embedded in your operating system. Remind yourself that you are here to follow, not to lead. That capital preservation enables all future gains. That patience is rewarded and impulsiveness is punished. That the trade ND is your only reliable ally. That patterns matter more than narratives. That emotions are designed for survival, not for trading, and must be acknowledged but never obeyed. That stops are sacred. That you compete only with yourself. that learning never ends, that losses are data, that your ego is not your guide. Do this every morning without exception, and something remarkable will happen. Over time, these reminders will no longer be necessary because these principles will have become part of who you are, rather than rules you must consciously recall. The greatest gift the market has given me is not money. Though I've earned and lost and earned fortunes again, it's the pursuit of self-mastery. Each day, the market delivers immediate and honest feedback about the quality of my thinking and discipline. There is no one to blame and no one to praise but myself. This accountability has shaped me not just as a trader, but as a human being. After decades in this arena, I know this with certainty. You have the same opportunity. The market doesn't care about your background, your education, your appearance, or your circumstances. It cares only about one thing. Can you master yourself? Ever. By morning you repeat these truths. You are declaring that you refuse to be average, that you will not allow emotion to destroy your capital, and that you will not quit when things become difficult. You are joining a small group of individuals who understand that external success is built on internal mastery. The market will test you. It will lure you with easy gains that vanish if chased. It will scare you away from opportunity through volatility and uncertainty. It will punish arrogance and reward humility. Through all of this, the only thing you truly control is your response. Not what the market does, but what you do when it does it. That space, between stimulus and response, is where the battle is decided. Where discipline defeats impulse, patience defeats urgency, and process defeats obsession with outcomes. This morning practice is my gift to you, earned through pain, failure, and years of costly lessons. I share it because I remember being broke, confused, overwhelmed by both the market and my own emotions. I remember wanting success without yet having discipline. If you're in that place now, understand this. You can change. But the change does not begin with a new strategy, a hot tip, or another indicator. It begins with who you are when you wake up, and what you tell yourself before the battle starts. The words you speak in those quiet moments form the foundation of everything that follows. They separate professionals from gamblers, careers from catastrophes, potential from reality. Say hem with conviction. Live them. And when you fail, because you will, say them again the next morning, and the one after that. Success in this business is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about staying disciplined during winning streaks and calm during losses. The person you are today is not the person you must become to succeed. Start building that person tomorrow morning. And ever. Why morning after? Your future self is waiting for you to show up and do the work.